Hello, this is Gene. I decided to do a video today. Before I do that, I do want to thank for the people who've responded to my video about Rogue One, the whole feminist type of thing, and so far the comments, it's the most commented ever on any of my videos, so thanks, and everybody's been civil so far. We've had a couple disagreements, but for all in all, it's good time going on in the comments. And this is what at first this channel was for my therapy after my stroke, but what I'm seeing is that when I bring up stuff that are more popular cultural type things like Star Wars, I get more views, and it allows me the time to expand of what I really want to do here. And someone being from like the last vestiges of the X generation, I'm trying to impart my wisdom down, not onto my own generation, the younger guys are like in their 30s, late 20s, but also the millennials and the ones after us, which I forget what they're called, the Ys or whatever. Just so that, I hate to say it, so they don't make the same mistakes that I did. So again, thank you for watching that. And what prompted this video was I watched Milo Yiannopoulos, who really is on the right side of the political sphere. Somebody I probably wouldn't have really listened to 4, 5, 6 ago, 5 or 6 years ago. But he said something to Dave Rubin at the end of their interview that really making me thinking about what we did in the 90s. Now, a lot of you guys, I don't know, some of you that are a lot younger than me are not even going to know what happened in the 90s. You might have been kids back then, but it was my generation, guys my age, around 25, 30, around guys who've been born like in the late, mid 50s or 60s. I'm not that old yet. That we had to stop and quell this whole PC thing that was going on, that we couldn't say anything in the public square and everybody was offended and all that. Now, they didn't have the internet back then. They did, but it wasn't at the same level as it is now, obviously. So you didn't have social media and all that stuff that could drive this narrative. So it was, even though the X generation gets blamed with a lot of things, because especially from a parenting standpoint, we are, I guess, the founders of the helicopter parenting, not let their kids go out and do anything, not see the world. I didn't do that, of course, but a lot of guys, my contemporaries did. They thought the whole world was a place that they might get killed in. And it's kind of like almost dovetails to their people that believe this. We have to be so politically correct so we don't hurt anybody's feelings. So back in the 90s, a lot of us did things about it, tried to stop it from happening, marched, wrote op-eds, voted out certain people, but it was like shut down at that point. Because at that point, we were doing pretty well in this country. Clinton came in, and obviously he wasn't the person that was responsible for how good we were doing. It was right after the tech bubble and everything blew up, and technology blew up, and people got a lot of money that way. So when people have money, they spend it, and that's really how this country works now anymore. We don't really make anything. We have to not build it, but figure out something or come up with a plan, and then somebody starts buying that plan, and it might be produced over in China, but it comes here and we buy for it, and that's kind of like where we get the wealth in this country. Obviously, part of my leftist bones don't really like that. I think we should have all of our factories back here in the States, and we should be building everything here. But this is free market, and unfortunately that's how it works in some ways. But what he said at the end of that, he talks about how people his age are here to stop this from happening again. and he talks about, and I'll link it below. He'll talk about if the other side, the people that are all about PC, the guys that believe in safe rooms and microaggression and all that stuff, i.e. feminism, and nobody really wants to say it. Almost everything that we see that deals with this, when we're talking about relevant issues in our lifetime, we talk about should we allow people from Syria to come in this country. And if we say something against it and say we don't like that idea, some people on the left, almost entirely on the left, will say that it's racist, even though Islam or Muslim isn't a race. It's a religious, it's a religion or it's an ideology. It has nothing to do about race. People, there are white Muslims, okay? Or we say things in the black community. Say that, well, as a white person, I've tried and supported all types of reforms in the black community. Certainly in the white community as well, because we have the same type of issues. Maybe not the same height or relevancy that they do have in the black community, but we definitely have the same issues because we're human and we live in the United States and we have the same type of obstacles in front of us. So if we talk about this, told me I'm racist because I'm a white person. I would never be understand this. But these people don't know where I grew up. They don't know the half of my half of the people that I walked down the street were a different color than me. It was more than that for a long time in my life, and there was never this. Back then, now I'm an old guy, so I'm thinking about how great it was back there. I don't remember other black people calling me honky or whitey or whatever on the streets. We hanged out, we played together, we played basketball and baseball until I moved out of this neighborhood. That's all I knew. There was no white, blue, it didn't matter, you know. We were all there together. We were at the same class when it came to how much money we made. Unfortunately, it was underneath what you considered as medium, but we didn't die or anything like that. It wasn't like we lived in the sedan that the next day, if we didn't eat any, if we couldn't eat that day, somebody might die. We were what I wouldn't say the working poor, but we were just above that. Let's say that. But I don't believe that we were on any type of Medicare or anything like, or not Medicare, but welfare or anything like that. Who knows? Might have been. I mean, I don't know everything that my parents went through, but I know that my dad worked hard and my mom worked hard. And on Christmas, we got something nice. And similar to everybody else in the neighborhood, and there was nobody complaining that the guy that lived across town was making more money. Now, anyway, what Milo was talking about, he was talking to Dave Rubin, who's another guy that, even though he's a little bit left than me, talking about how back then, people my age, his age now, stopped from PC from happening. That was the X generation, and that's what I'm from. And I'm an old X generation. And it's the new one now that are trying to stop it. One of them is Milo. Another was Devon Rubin. Another was Devon Tracey. Sam Harris. Harris might be, well, yeah, he's older like me. He's still an X. I'm really talking about the guys around 35 and below that are out now trying to stop this from happening. Not just guys, of course. There are people... female like Karen Strong, Allison Tiemann, and that type of thing that are trying to stop this. And a lot of these people got into this as being quote unquote anti-feminist, and then they realized how much of a stranglehold that feminism has on the left, especially in the United States, especially in Canada, especially in Australia, and especially in UK. Now, obviously, Sweden is almost the whole country is pretty much run by feminist theory, and it's unfortunate for them. It's a beautiful country. I never thought it would happen in Germany. I didn't think that they would allow that to happen, but they have so much guilt from what happened, and that's great. You know, you should remember what you did and all that stuff, but what they've done there is just craziness. So now that I see this, and what I want to do now is, if you know, the 50 or 60 people that actually looks at my stuff, if I can help anybody that's a bit younger than me, or even guys that are my age that don't really understand this. Like I said, 5-6 years ago, I was I was right there. I was about as far left as you can get. Now, I wasn't like a socialist or anything like that, but I believed everything that the feminists said. I was like, women only got 77% on every dollar that a man makes. And I really believe that there were a lot of bad men out there, like the 1 in 5 bullshit on campuses. I really believe that men were that way. And I was kind of trained by that by my own mother, who basically says, if you ever touch a woman in the wrong way, or if you look at a woman the wrong way, I'm going to come find you. Somehow she had been taught this. And she grew up in the 60s at that second wave of feminism, where that stuff started coming out, and there was stuff in schools at that point. So what happened in the 80s, in the 90s, when they lost that battle, and Milo talks about this, that the academia people, they lost the fight, but they stayed in the schools. And also, Christina Stubborn talks about that, and I'll put that below as well. She talks about it, and how they just took the power while no one was watching. And at the same time, they update all of the textbooks. And we're not talking about just going to women's studies or gender studies. A lot of the psychological books were changed by these people based on some sort of foul theory. Today, the one they want to talk about now, because feminism has to change everything all the time. Now it's intersectional feminist. And the interesting thing is, as I become more and more awake about what's going on around me, it happens to those who are MGTOW. They have this revelation that, oh my God, society is gynocentric, that really men really have, basically we're just slaves to this culture, that we are tools of mostly women and the state. And you get upset about that, especially if something happened to you that now you see what happened, how you were kind of like used all the time. Because men have this physical power. Overall, we're probably a little bit smarter. Not all, but overall, we're kind of like smarter. We have more geniuses than our men. We're bigger, stronger that way. But how evolution works and all that stuff works, women really know how to manipulate, and they've known this forever. They know what they need to get from us. It doesn't make us a dog like Maslow, but we're something like that. And at the end of the day, we're always going to try to satisfy your mother or your wife or a girl down the street or something like that. That's what we do. We're kind of hardwired to do it. Now that we see all this happening and feminism today not having anything really to be complaining about, so they find these other little things they have to complain about, like mansplaining or stair raping or something like that. We find out this second or third or fourth wave, because they keep trying to change it. Emma Watson came out and tried to make it to, we don't hate women, our men, and all that stuff. But at the end, she wants all men to sign up to help women. So it's like, okay. The truth is that this intersexual feminism is what Anita Sarkeesian talks about. And she talks about this, and it's a video that a lot of people get on her ass about, saying that I was woke up as well, and I had to realize that everything was sexist, everything was this, everything was that, and I had to point it all out. Well, I'm kind of that way myself, so I do understand when people don't understand the whole subject or the entire thing. They might say that MRAs or guys that are on the other side are anti-feminists. They're the same. It's the same level, and we're just at the second. All we are is the other side of the coin. Then I would say that would happen if we had the same amount of power that they have, which we don't. So, but I'm with her on that. When you get woken up, you see this. So I see it now on the left, and before Dave Rubin came out, before Sam Harris came out, before Nazi came out and talked about regressism, I knew that something was up, and I think it might have it. One of my first videos talk about this issue that's going on the left. That really, at that point, I was talking about the gender stuff that we're talking about that try to divide us. And this is something that if you actually study Marxism and communism and how they want to erode the family union, all that stuff is there, and all that's kind of like a template for what happened in the feminist movement. And now they're trying to do other things like this, and it kind of changes. It's like Now they're all about Black Lives Matter. You know, that's like their big thing. And also we can't say anything about Islam and transgender. But feminism 20 or 30 years ago didn't give a shit about lesbians. They didn't care about gay people. 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago, they didn't care about any women that didn't have any money. The suffragettes wasn't about all women. It was only talking about those that had the class, quote unquote. They were elite than everybody else. And today we lionize these people like they were heroines when they weren't. All that really happened was they marched, and at some point men said, okay, we're going to give it to you anyway because, sorry, we're still in the same type of culture. We are gynocentric. We are always going to do what the female wants at the end of the day because in our reptilian brain, we know that they're the ones that keeps the species moving. However, when you have social media and you have the internet and everything like that, and you have a lot of young guys who are not seduced by feminism, and they start open up, they realize, why would I get married? The system is stacked against us. So it's all kind of like related. And so when I talk about feminism, strange how this hasn't happened in a while that somebody's calling me. Let me check it out. Since I don't have any editing software. Hello. All right. Oh, this old man. Anyway. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll try to figure that out in the. I don't use any editing software. This is just me talking off the cuff. Obviously, if I did all that stuff, I might have more than 100 people watching me. I don't know. So it's all related. That's what I was trying to get across. And after yesterday, or watching all the comments, and there are still people that, let's say, they haven't been awaked yet. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm right. I could be right on, or I could be wrong on these things. But I think the point I was trying to make is that the X generation, we have what was me. I was like the first part of it. That we kind of like quelled that the PC stuff, and now we have the guys at the end, the younger X generation that are trying to do it again. And all I can say to that is I'm proud that they're part of my generation. And that younger one demographic will have to continue to educate the millennials and those after them because unfortunately as we get older seems like the other generations who are younger than us just don't want to listen to what we have to say. The sense of entitlement is, I think after every generation it gets like another 10 degrees more or more 10 times more than the previous generation, that they think that they know everything, and now they have had the internet for their entire life that they've been alive. They just fall in their own little echo chamber, and they can't have any debate. And if you watch how they try to have, they don't have debate. They just talk over you, or they just yell at you, and then at the end they'll call you a racist, or you are a white man. You have no voice here, or something like that. And while they don't think it's racist because they're a female that's African, or they're trans because they can't be racist, but only you can because you're the white man that have the power. But you don't. Not in the way. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, that's how it is right now. But that's all I had to say today. I'm going to link down those people. If you guys have not seen these people, Milo, Yellenopoulos, David Rubin, Devon Tracey, all three of them are white men. A couple of them are gay. Not that matters, and I don't agree with everything that they say. I think that Rubin and Tracey are probably going to vote for Clinton. I can never do that. And there's a video that I sent to Devin about that. I tried to explain it to him, but he's a X generation as well, and he believes what he believes, and I believe what I'm going to do, and I'm still trying to help him because he's still a little younger than me. But he has a hell of a lot more following than I have. And he is a voice that we need. David is more liberal than most, but he realized what's going on with the progressives left. So I applaud him. Milo, he's a conservative. But he likes Trump, and I still, even today, I'm not really sure that Trump is a conservative, but he is another necessary tool to stop this allowing the feminism. They say other things with it, talking about PC and all that stuff, but all that is tied back to their beliefs that they're the only ones that they can be put upon, and that their opinion is all that really matters. So these guys are more important. There are a lot of other people, a lot of great people like Karen Strawn and people I've talked about before, and I will lick them as well. And share, if you can, those informations to the people that maybe not know that, and they can just look at it and say, "Screw you, I don't believe that." But some of it will resonate, and they might say, "Wow, you know what? I kind of have that same type of feeling myself. Maybe there's something more here." Because at the end of the day, most of you know that I'm a men's right advocate. All we want is some things to be reformed in the system. None of us hate women, okay? And no matter how much, if I hate a certain thing that's going on in Star Wars, doesn't mean I hate women. If I want guys to have parental custody, doesn't mean I hate women, or I think that women are bad parents. The point is that there needs to be reform, and the reform that we want, I think, is fair. Some of the reform that they want on the other side, especially when it comes to sexual assault cases, guilty until you prove you're innocent, that needs to be stopped, and we need to stand up and stop it from happening. Okay, that's all I have today. If you have any comments, let me know, and we can talk more about this in the comments as well. And thanks, and share if you could, and like as well. Have a good day. Bye.